How you doing? Good. You have this shutdown deadline approaching. How do you feel about this House bill, and do you plan to vote for it?
Well, I hate the House bill. I think to have such large amounts of the budget uncommitted so that the president can do whatever he wants is exactly what we've been fighting against. That being said, if you shut down the government, the president is the person who decides what is essential. He decides what part of the government stays open. So you're actually giving him even more power. So I haven't made up my mind, but I think that the continuing resolution is awful. Really, the fact that we've gotten to this point is very frustrating and saddens me. But it does seem the lesser of two very serious evils is to go along with the CR. Shutting down the government, it's always a last resort. In this case, it's even more than that, because who knows how long it stays shut down? Who knows how long the president decides that he likes making all the decisions for the government? That he's going to. You can imagine him saying, "Congress has failed. Congress can't help you. It's up to me to save everyone." And then we can't reopen government without Republicans. They're the ones who've got to put a bill on the floor. And if he tells them, "Don't do that," we happen to know for a pretty good fact that they won't do it. There's a level of obedience that we've never seen before between the White House and Congress. I think we just have to respect that. If someone reveals himself to you, believe them. Well, I think they're showing that they're going to do whatever the president says, at least so far. I mean, at some point, I really do believe that Republicans and Democrats are going to stand up and make sure that Congress maintains the power of the purse, the constitutional obligation and responsibility that we've been given. We shouldn't give up on that.
Yeah, and it sounds like if you think that a shutdown would be worse than the CR.
I think that it has certainly the potential to be far worse. That's the nightmare scenario, which I would, 6 months ago would have never believed would be possible. Now there's not too many things I can't say, he might do that.
Mm-hmm. So would it be fair to say you're leaning towards voting for the CR, or at least voting for cloture?
Yeah, I think I'm leaning in that direction. But I've gone back and forth on this thing 3 times because it is two horrible choices, and it's hard to imagine two worse choices where in either case you can envision terrible things happening, people losing funding for essential things in Colorado that people depend on. We're talking about medical situations. We're talking about veterans' jobs. We're talking about education. It's just a waterfall of horribles.
Politically, how do you think your voters would react if you guys let this go forward because you feel like you have to, but you don't really get anything in return?
We're not going to get anything in return no matter what. They drove this dump truck up to the brink, and they're daring us to tip it over, to push it over the edge, let it fall. When you get to these kinds of decisions, I think we're all better off if we worry less about, am I going to get reelected? And really, what is the right thing? What is the best thing for the country, given that there's no good decision, no good choice? Speaking
of reelection, have you decided if you're going to run yet?
Yeah, I'm already out there having started to run, although now I'm having second thoughts watching all my fellow senators, stepping back and having, for the last 2 months, I've started fundraising. It's a pain in the neck, right?
Yeah.
Actually, it's worse than that. It's a pain in the ass. But I'm looking forward to the campaign, and I'm looking forward to re-election.
But you're running.
I'm running, and I think that just when things look the worst, oftentimes, usually through providence, good things come. Life generally is a pendulum, and I want to be ready when things start getting better. I want to be here and be part of Congress when it works, when it actually there's bipartisan compromises where we actually deal with some of the big challenges and we're not just kicking everything down the field.
Fair enough. Thanks for your time.
Hey, Senator, can I ask you about the